Well, hello there. How are you? It is so good to see you. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So let's see what message Spirit has for us today. So we have Snake Spirit, time to heal. It's also the number 55. So fives represent that we've gotten to some point, perhaps in a relationship or a situation that we may want healing with, right? This could be a physical illness. This could be a relationship with someone else. It could even be a relationship with ourselves, okay? The perception that we have about a situation. But there's something here where you've gotten to the point. The number 5 represents we've gotten to a certain point where we recognize we can't continue on the same with the same perception or viewpoint that we have. Something has to shift, right? We either have to allow ourselves to see the situation in a different perspective, or we need to make the decision that it's time to allow ourselves to move on to something else, right? And solitude, yes, and silence, peace prevails. This is the Hermit energy, Virgo energy. Right now we have the South Node in Virgo. There's a strong energy here of allowing ourselves to perhaps recognize, right? Are we wanting a certain situation, relationship, or something with ourselves to be perfect? The shadow side of Virgo, okay, is really the energy of wanting or seeking perfection in a situation, a relationship, right? Or even with ourselves or with others. There's something here about allowing ourselves to recognize that what is it that we really want, whether this is a relationship or a situation. What is it that you are really and truly desiring in your heart, and allowing yourself to perhaps ask yourself, are your expectations out of alignment, or are you expecting too much from yourself or from others in the situation? Are you thinking that, something has to be perfect in order to allow yourself to truly give in to this situation, to allow yourself to move forward? A lot of times this kind of energy is with a relationship, right? Where maybe we're seeking an apology from someone, or someone comes and gives us an apology, but we're judging the way that they're apologizing rather than allowing ourselves to see the energy behind the apology. The really strong message, and we do have Mercury and Venus in retrograde. This is a time of people sometimes reaching out from the past, and trying to reconnect with us in some way. It could also be a situation, a job situation. It could be someone, a past employer that is reaching out, wanting to heal something, a connection. Maybe you lost your job or something. They're reaching out to you. They want you back, but it's a little bit, I'm going to say, yes, the never-ending story is popping out. This is a reminder of allowing ourselves to see this situation in a different way, because there is healing that wants to occur in this. For some reason, I feel like this is a situation or a relationship that your heart really and truly desires to be in, to be connected to this person or situation, right? To give this another try. And yet at the same time, there's been a lot of pain. With the Snake Spirit, it recognizes that there has been a lot of pain in the situation. It's causing you perhaps a little bit of confusion, because sometimes we're trying to prevent ourselves from getting hurt again in this relationship or situation. And therefore, we're allowing ourselves to perceive the situation more from a viewpoint of protection, okay, which is really a viewpoint of fear, instead of allowing ourselves to step into the energy of what is working here. Yes, I feel like there is somebody or someone reaching out to you that wants a new a new start, okay? We have the Fool energy here, happy success. This is 10 of Cups type of energy, but wanting it in a new, kind of like a totally new clean slate type of energy that has been coming around very often. You could be dealing with a Libra, or you could be a Libra, right? It doesn't have to be, but it is the energy of wanting balance, of wanting healing in a situation. Even if you decide to walk away, it's kind of like, but before I walk away, I want to bring balance into this connection. I do feel like for a lot of you, it is a person. It is more of a person where you may have a lot of confusion around, how can we have success after especially perhaps some difficult things that have occurred in the past. It's recognizing that you deserve, right? You deserve love, respect from this person or this situation. Seeing clearly, okay, how something that at one time came down has a sense of it being healed. Yeah. I think this is something, perhaps a relationship, right? That maybe one or both of you in the connection tried to control the energy within it. This is instead allowing yourselves to both be empowered to seeing the good in the relationship instead of focusing on what has gone on in the past that was painful. A sense of forgiveness. There is a true sense of forgiveness here. Yeah, the Justice coming in, wanting balance. I feel like communication, 8 of Wands, communication coming in. Somebody wanting to reconnect, or you're wanting to reconnect. You could even be working telepathically, especially if this is like a twin flame connection. You could be working telepathically, right? To try to bring happiness and joy, wish fulfillment, 9 of Cups. What is it? It's allowing yourself, because look, the healing card after difficulty, disappointment in this situation. I feel like somebody walked away at one time because of emotions, but this is also about recognizing, can we have a fresh start after, right? After a difficult ending. I do feel like this is somebody that you parted ways with at one time. And the universe is trying to help you. Your spirit guides and angels are trying to help you to see that there is more to this connection than the pain. Okay. Now, this isn't going to resonate for everyone. If this is a situation that was highly toxic or abusive, it's allowing yourself to recognize that somebody, if this is your situation, somebody has done their healing. They're not coming as the same person, okay? And you would be able to recognize that, allowing yourself to use your intuition to guide you. Is this person, I feel like you have done a lot of healing, allowing yourself to recognize that somebody else may have also done a lot of healing. I think that is one of the things that I recognize on my own journey of doing a lot of healing. My perception of myself has changed, right? But sometimes when we're around people from our life before perhaps we awakened or we've done a lot of healing, those people kind of like can sometimes hold us in that past energy, expecting us to be that person that we were in the past. And that is a lot of times when we have to really allow ourselves to distance ourselves from that. I feel like it's the same thing. It's a reciprocal, right? If you have done, and if you're here, you have done a lot of healing on your journey, it's also allowing this other person the grace. There is grace, right? Grace in recognizing that they could have also done a lot of healing. It's allowing yourself to recognize that if you want someone to recognize and appreciate the changes that you have made on your own journey, on your own healing, then it's also allowing ourselves to recognize that other people could too. and not to hold them to, it's kind of like holding someone accountable for what has occurred in the past. And I'm not saying that that may be part of the forgiveness process, right? But it's not allowing yourself to fall prey into rehashing the past over and over again. I can see that for myself, right? It's kind of like our ego wants to protect us. So sometimes we keep going back to what happened in the past. This is the energy of, if you're deciding to heal this connection, putting time and energy into it, allowing the past to be the past, and allowing yourself to say, clean slate for both of us, clean slate for our connection, clean slate for the situation, allowing yourself to move forward in a much more, this is a new era type of energy, right? And that it can be difficult, especially if you're kind of like seeing this as a twin flame or something. It's kind of like, in other words, I just keep hearing it's water under the bridge, right? It's gone. Allowing it to float away, allowing yourselves to forgive each other. It's a very reciprocal process here, right? We have the Libra energy out here a couple of times, allowing yourselves to say, and it doesn't mean maybe you have to do some conversations, healing work on what has occurred in the past, but then it really is that energy of, I'm letting it go. Because the only way that the connection or your own happiness, finding your own happiness, even if you decide, okay, I'm not quite ready to be in that connection, it's still allowing it to go so that you can move forward to something that is much happier. Because I feel like that part of it is that you're trying to protect yourself so much that you're losing sight of the joy in the connection that we have when we are in true loving connections, right? And allowing yourself to recognize that, yes, maybe you did have to be on your own for some time. That is part of the healing journey, allowing ourselves to go within, allowing ourselves to reconnect to our true authentic self, and deciding for ourselves, right, what it is that is true for us. We have to allow ourselves to shed those conditioned beliefs, those experiences that were painful, right? We have to allow ourselves to do that healing journey. But that's what this message is. It's time to allow yourself to start reconnecting with people. Allow yourself to step out of the energy of feeling like you have to overprotect yourself, right? That message has been kind of clear. Yeah, because there is this, I want to expand my life, right? But also understanding, if you have high expectations, that Virgo, shadow element that's playing out because it's in our South Node, that's our past karma. That is the baggage, if you will, that we're carrying forward into a new chapter. And we have started a new chapter, especially with the lunar eclipse last week. It's allowing ourselves to say, I'm not allowing myself to be over expecting of myself or of others. I'm allowing myself to, there is about loving and respecting ourselves and others, but it's also about recognizing that we're all doing the best that we can. It's about, what is the long game that I want? What are the experiences I really want to have in this lifetime? Allowing ourselves to set our sights on the future and what we would enjoy experiencing instead of rehashing, the past. It's allowing ourselves a clean slate, but it's also allowing others a clean slate. It's really recognizing, if that's what we want, a clean slate for ourselves, we also have to allow ourselves to give clean slates to others. It's about love when it gets down to it. When we go within, we understand that what we're really doing is seeking love, loving connections, and allowing ourselves to move past the disappointments so that we can joyfully reunite, perhaps with some people from the past, but also moving towards new people, new friends, new connections in our most loving way. Yeah, this is beautiful. I mean, this is just a beautiful energy. This message just keeps kind of coming out, allowing ourselves to change the perception of difficulties in the past. Three of Swords just keeps coming out, right? I'm changing my perception on that. I'm allowing myself to see that that relationship that ended also put me on a journey of being by myself so that I could really and truly go within and rediscover, right, who I really am, who my authentic self is. Now that I'm in that place, now that I've done the healing, allowing myself to also recognize somebody else could have also done their healing, or there's new people ahead on my path that have done the healing, and allowing myself to say, okay, I'm willing to open the door. I'm willing to open my heart to new people, new situations, and even new relationships with people from the past. Wow, powerful. The divine is working behind the scenes, the moon card, right? That is just indication that our spirit guides and angels are helping healing in connections from the past within ourselves and healing energy around connections in the future. Beautiful energy. All right, let's pull a soul truth card for you for some final advice. And I do personal readings, so if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. Yeah, when was the last time I danced freely? Now, you know, there's a couple of messages that are coming out with this. It is about allowing yourself to even envision, okay, or get into the emotions of dancing freely. And dancing, right, is energy. And when we're allowing ourselves to dance freely, that means we're not judging the way that we're dancing, and we're not concerned about the judgments of others that may be watching us dance, right? This is the energy of being our true self and aligning our words, our thoughts, our deeds, right? The way we dance, the way we're showing up in our relationships with our highest vibrational self. Allowing ourselves to let go of the judgments of ourselves or of others so that we can dance, okay, with others in the most loving way. Wow, powerful energies coming through here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate all of your support, and I hope to see you again really soon. Much love and light. Bye for now.